Welcome everybody to Disney Sea. Tokyo Disney Sea is really one of the most unique of the Disney resorts that I think I've ever been in. And I've been in all of them. And you've just got to come and visit it to check it out. You know, most people when they think of Disney Sea think of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or Tower of Terror and Journey to the Center of the Earth, some of those attractions, the Indiana Jones ride. But Disney Sea has quite some other unique things to see and to do. So in this video, I'd like to show off a little bit of the Disney Sea spots that most people don't always venture to. So let's check it out. First, we'll be going on this pirate ship that's here in the bay. Quite popular with all the kids, I found, and it's completely explorable. And I think it was like my third trip to Disney Sea that I finally just walked around this ship. It reminds me of Tom Sawyer's Island in Disneyland, just all kinds of little places to explore and little interesting things to see in the back and in the front, and go to the steering section and just see what what a pirate ship would be like, what it would be like to be on a pirate ship. Unfortunately, I didn't see Jack Sparrow anywhere, but hey, it was still pretty cool to take a ride on this ship. The area surrounding the ship has, quite a bunch of interesting little walkways and, paths and just, little explorable areas that most people don't go to or even notice, but because they're all going for the main attractions. But there's all kinds of little nice places just to walk, and check out maybe while you're waiting for your fast pass. Some bridges and some really interesting little nooks and crannies to see. There's some Indiana Jones there in the background. One of my favorite attractions is Raging Spirits, which is a little ways from the Indiana Jones ride, more or less next to it, and maybe one of the more thrilling of the roller coasters that they have in Disney Sea. And how in the world do they keep that fire burning? I just can't figure it out. Someone tell me, how do they do that? It must be Disney magic. See, honestly, I've never been on Raging Spirits before. I'm not sure if it's Tokyo Disney Sea only, or if the attraction actually exists in one of the other theme parks. The States. I know that Tower of Terror exists as a copy in the States, and Disney Sea copied it, but I'm not sure about Raging Spirits. It's quite the fun little coaster, and I recommend you check it out if you get a chance to visit Tokyo Disney Sea. Just be careful with your camera. I was carrying mine, and even though there were little pouches in the thing, during the loop I almost lost it. So just make sure that you've got your stuff packed in tight before you go through the loop. From there's a bunch of little caves and things you can explore while you're walking from Journey to the Center of the Earth. And you can find the Castle Fortress. There's this kind of fortress there near the bay, and there's a bunch of very bizarre, things you can play around with, and kind of hands-on, things to check out and to play with. It's hard to describe. It reminds me a lot of Epcot Center and the area that's now closed. That was the kind of Journey of Life. I can't remember the exact name, but it reminds me of that kind of thing. There's lots of little things inside to see and do and to check out. So let's go inside and have a look. We must be quiet here. It seems the monks are chanting their sacred oaths. There's kind of an interesting observatory-like room in there with all the stars and the constellations. And it's hard to tell from my video, but the entire thing is moving. You've got all the planets in their alignments, and they're all moving on this giant mechanism. Very, very cool. You just have to, sit there and watch it for a while, because that's really the only way to, really tell what's going on. You got the sun, and Earth is moving around the sun, and you've got the moon, and, all of the major planets moving in their proper orbit. It's pretty cool. There's this giant swinging pendulum, and I'm not sure the exact timing. I think it's every minute. I waited for a minute, but I didn't see any of them knock down. But it knocks down those little pegs you saw there. This was quite the interesting painting. It was pretty difficult to get it on camera. But you've got this giant painting, and if you look through this lens, the entire painting will be 3D. And, of course, filming it from the side, it already looks kind of three-dimensional. But looking through the lens, it's even more amazing the way it pops out. My camera can't do it justice, but it's a really cool painting and all kinds of small details, something that MC Escher would be proud of. Let's have a look through the lens. Of course, with the naked eye it's much better, but let's have a look. And that's what it looks like through the special lens. One of my favorite things to see was these remote control pirate ships that you can see the students and kids in the background controlling them. And you control these ships to kind of go around this obstacle course. And there's some, traps and sea monsters that get in your ship's way. And there's one now. Basically, you try to, bump your opponents around, push them out of the way, and then race your ship around the Caribbean islands there to see if you can get to the treasure first. Very cool and very fun. On our way away from the fort, you've got some areas with little games to play, like water squirting out of these barrels in various places, and you have to try to catch it or stop it. You got several ships, that are explorable there in the bay, and then the bridges that go all the way around the giant water sections in the middle. Tower of Terror can always be seen in the distance. Lots of boat rides, and the gondola ride, definitely one of my favorites. if you're tired of all the crazy rides and, you know, roller coaster style things, the gondola is nice and peaceful. Get away from the hubbub of all the people. And then if you feel like it, you can go up here in the castle and fire away these cannons. See if you can destroy all those ships out in the bay. I tried firing a few times, but I didn't do any damage. Fail! Even the castle ramparts have some interesting spots that you can explore. I found that, you know, exploring Disney Sea was quite a bit of fun. You know, waiting for some of the main attractions. You know, make sure if you visit to check out all these little side sections and just wander around, because, you know, just the wandering around is quite fun. And there's all kinds of little hidden things that you can find and check out. Plus, you get a great view. One of my favorite rides is these bumper boats. It's quite the cool technology because it's trackless. These boats, you know, never hit each other, and they're on a special route where they have a sensor underneath, and you can see there in the water there's some lines, and the boats actually just follow those lines, but the attraction is completely trackless. You know, there's no track or anything down there, and they're just so accurate the way that they go backward, forward, and around, and they follow these lines using a sensor underneath the boat. You'd think the water would interfere with the sensor, but it's pretty amazing. Amazing technology and a lot of fun. Just don't get wet. In the evening, maybe on our way out, let's check the U.S. Steamship Company, some of the restaurants, and on our way home we might want to just jump up into the Tower of Terror and have us a little shocking surprise. Yeah, if you guys ever have a chance to visit Tokyo Disney Sea, I highly recommend it. It's a really fun resort, lots of exciting things to do and see, and just all around a good time. Now to buy some omiyage. じゃあね